Thing. I had to like redo the mic or something. I don't know.
All right, we're live. All right, well, everyone. Well, welcome. I'm so glad to be here. We're on the You vs. You show today, and it's gosh, what is today? Tuesday, I believe. I don't even know the date. April 21st. All right, cool. 2000.
Yay.
And really excited about this show today. So if you're tuning in, thanks so much for watching. We're on Facebook and YouTube, and I upload this and put it on my IGTV on Instagram. So if you definitely want to check out our show, if you're new to it, you definitely can do that. We have a lot of replays going on all over the place. So today we want to get right into it with our guest speaker. And we have someone that is here with us, Lisa, and she is from New Jersey. Lisa has been a client of mine of the Inside Out program for quite a while. And our topic today is going to be really great. It's about starting over. It's not just because we're interviewing someone that's in her 50s. It's actually because a lot of us, even if we might be millennials in our early 30s, maybe have to start over because of the economy, because of maybe what's happening with COVID. So it's a great time to talk about getting a fresh start. It's a great time to talk about understanding who your real teachers are. And I definitely have a jam-packed session with each and every one of you today. So if you're watching live, thanks so much. Go ahead and comment. Let me know you're watching, where you're actually watching from. And Lisa, thanks so much for actually being on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. So tell me a little bit about yourself, a little bit of your background, and then we'll get right into the questions.
Okay, so I am a 54-year-old mom of two. I have a 23-year-old son. I have a 19-year-old daughter. I currently live in Westfield, New Jersey. I was born and raised here. I'm a dental assistant by trade for my whole life. Currently going through a divorce right now. So, I hooked up with Todd, or hooked up with you back in October when I was in desperate need of you. So I'm really thankful for you.
Right.
You got me at a great time. So it's perfect. It's been amazing. This journey's been amazing. So.
Okay. So tell me what you learned in the past. Let's say, how is 2020 different than maybe your 2019? What are some things that you're learning and some new information that maybe you're applying to your life that maybe you didn't even know of as of 2020 or 2018? Or I'm sorry, 2019 or 2018.
Well, I mean, since I met you, I think the first three things that you told me on the first phone call was to start meditating, to have gratitude, and to what was the other? Oh, and to start working out.
Okay.
Those three things I never ever did, and those three things are still a staple that I would never not do.
Okay.
So that's changed my whole world, actually.
So how have you incorporated that stuff? I mean, it sounds easy to do, but also it's easy not to do. I mean, I just went on a run, hurried up and showered, got ready for this interview. But, it was a great run. It was about 45 minutes. It was outside. I had the sun, vitamin D. But again, I was in a robe all day. So I had to put on my workout clothes. And even though it's easy to go on a run, but it's that that stuff, like the pre-game, I guess. So how have you been able to get out of kind of maybe a rut of all these years? You weren't really working out. You weren't really taking care of yourself. You weren't really meditating. How did you get into a rhythm, in a routine that now you're consistent?
Well, I have to say, in the beginning, when I started meditating, I was like, what is this? Oh my God. I couldn't get into it at first. It took me like a week. But it's something that I do at least twice a day, sometimes even 3 times a day. It calms me down. It gets me out of my head. And actually, after the more and more you do it, the more and more you need it. The more and more you want to do it, and it gives you clarity. And the working out, I mean, I have to tell you, in the beginning, I was a mess. Like, I couldn't walk. I was so sore. But I mean, it's been 6 months, and now the gyms are closed, but I'm so much stronger, and I have so much more endurance, and I feel so amazing when I come out. I just push myself, and it feels so good. That pushing yourself feels good. So
nice.
Yeah, it's great. I love it.
Yeah. So meditation, let's talk a little bit more about that, and then we'll move on to another question that I have for you. But, being a client, you pick the right teacher with me and Emmanuel. That's definitely good for you, because I think I was listening to Robert Kiyosaki today, interviewed by Lewis Howes, and both are like really, really special to me. Robert is like one of my absolute heroes of all time. You know, he wrote the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, and you know, it's you have to really be mentally strong. You know, you're either what he was talking about. He's talking about you're either fragile or you're kind of a rock where, you know, you just kind of get beat up a lot in life and you can take it. You know, it's kind of like being a New Jersey girl, right? You're just going to take a lot of that, you know, whatever. You're strong. Being a New Yorker, you know, I've heard it all. You know, you're not strong unless you live in New York, okay? Well, the problem is with that, you're just taking it and you're not really fighting back. Right. And then there's also the anti-fragile. So I think maybe you came into this as maybe fragile, going through divorce. I think a lot of people are very fragile going into divorce, and after 20 something years, maybe it's that, okay, the perspective of being, okay, halftime of your life. And then you started to get really stronger. And I think you're really becoming anti-fragile. And I'm not just saying you're not sensitive, you're not a woman, you're not feeling your emotions. What I'm saying is you're actually doing something about it. You know, you're not sitting around, you know, fragile because of the economy, fragile because of COVID. I mean, don't get me wrong. We all have our fears. We all go through our ups and downs. We all go through our doubts. But how are you becoming stronger, starting with even the meditation and how your mind is now, how your mind thinks now compared to how it used to think?
Oh my gosh, it's like it's a completely different mindset. You're so true. You're so right that you get stronger. You know, when you start going through something, you have so many doubts. You have, you know, am I doing the right thing? Did I do the right thing? You have guilt. You know, I think we did an interview in the very beginning, and I was like a wreck. I would like cry myself to sleep, and now and like you said, like, you know, there's Jersey girls are Jersey girls. We are, we are like we're solid. Like I don't know, and we don't take shit. But you know what? I'm the type of girl that, you know, I don't want to hurt people's feelings. I never want to hurt anybody. I take everything in. And so I think that's a big, it's something to overcome. And with me, I had a hard time finding my voice because I never wanted to be confrontational. I never wanted to, you know, it was never about me. And then when you finally realize that you need to make things about you sometimes, and it's not selfish to do that, it's hard to find that in you. And I'm starting to find that. And this program is bringing that so out in me and getting me so pumped up because I know exactly what I want to do now with my life. And it's giving me clarity and I love it. And now you're taking this Jersey girl to the next level, Todd.
Right.
For sure.
Well, you know, you're kind of like the avatar of the clients that I've had in the past and also that I have now. What I mean by that is, you know, your kids, I mean, you're a mother of how many children? Two. And they're obviously you're not living at home anymore, right? They moved out?
No, they're both living at home still.
They're both living at home still.
Yeah.
So, and how old are they?
23 and 19.
Okay, 23 or 19. Okay, so but they're at that age where you're not, you know, babysitting them. Yeah, so let's talk about that person. So you have a 50-plus-year-old right now watching this. Maybe their kids are 19, 23. Maybe they're in college. They're in the military. Maybe they're living at home. They're obviously self-sufficient in many, many ways. You're not obviously making their macaroni and cheese anymore, right? You know, they're making their own meals, whatever. Yeah. So this is an interesting part because, you know, men and women are different, and they're just different. You know, I don't know how to explain it. But let's just talk about the feminine side, the woman side. You, where have you come from raising, you know, two children, raising them to be 19, 23? Congratulations, by the way. That's a huge accomplishment, right? Yeah. And then you kind of look back and you're like, oh my God, just yesterday I felt like I was 24 or just having the babies, right?
Right.
Well, how has your perspective shifted now? Because I want someone that's watching this who's 54, a woman, 2 kids, 1 kid or more, watches this interview and says, man, good for her, but she doesn't know my story. I'm struggling through this. I'm going through divorce now. I don't know how I'm going to start. I don't know financially. I don't know what to do, blah, 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 blah. What are just some practical things that you've done that you could share with all of us to get out of the rut, to make you feel unstuck? Because I know plenty of times you've probably felt stuck, but what have you done just to get unstuck and get going and have a happy attitude and feel good and actually take that necessary action on your dreams? And can someone in their 50s even still pursue their dreams, or did you have to start over? How did all that work for you?
Okay, so real quick in a nutshell, like I'm gonna just be completely transparent. I had met somebody, you know, while I was married, and that relationship was for about a year and a half. And I put everything into that relationship, and it ended poorly. I think that was the pivotal moment where I thought, I'm putting my happiness in a person. That's what I did my whole life.
Right.
And never really thought about what made me happy. I just kind of was going with the flow. And I think there's so many women out there that, that aren't happy, and they feel stuck financially. You don't want to hurt your children. I mean, and let me just say, it doesn't matter if your children are 8 or 28. It still hurts when your parents get divorced. So it's something that you struggle with. It's something that I struggled with for a long time, actually, till I met you. I was floundering all over the freaking place. I didn't know what I was doing. I was looking for validation. I felt very low. I didn't think I was doing the right thing, but I was already out of my marriage pretty much. So to answer your question, basically, I think it's you need to look inward. You need to look, and people said to me all the time, this is something I say all the time now. A lot of my friends would say to me, you need to go find yourself. And I would say to them, like, what are you talking about? I know myself. Like, I don't need to find myself. But you really do need to find yourself. And I'm starting to, like, just the past couple of months, realize what I want, what makes my heart happy. Knowing that I don't need somebody for validation. I have so much self-respect.
Let's talk about that, because you're saying obviously amazing things, but we're all different, and I think a lot of us though are so connected that we need, without that self-awareness, because what you're talking about is self-awareness. So without that self-awareness, especially as a woman, because it's just the way biology is, if you're in the middle of divorce, you meet an attractive man, you might have some money, you're going through divorce, you don't have a lot of money, he's nice, hey, I better start dating. But you never really get that time to be like, okay, why did this just happen? I need to reflect. And you don't want to keep wasting time, because even if you're 30 to 50 to 60, your time is limited on earth. So what you're saying is so powerful to anyone that's listening in this, because you're talking about you don't need anybody. Because here's what I found. When somebody like you is going through what you're going through and finds you, right, you actually fall in love with yourself.
Yes.
You can't really make a lot of mistakes in the future because you're meditating. And people that meditate don't make a lot of mistakes. They can call a bullshitter out. They can see a bullshitter, and then they can also see a real, let's say, man, and you're a future person that really is kind, that really has your best interest at heart. Like, you're creating that, but you would never have seen that if you didn't create that self-awareness. So you went from lack of clarity to more and more and more clarity. So what does one have to do? What did you do to get more clarity so that 4, 5, 6 months later, here we are, and you're continuing to get that clarity, but you just feel so much better. You have more momentum, you have more energy, and you really are in love with yourself?
Well, I think that when I had the breakup, it was about a year ago. And that was the time when I was dating. I threw myself into the dating world. I started dating, and I was looking for something. Everybody used to say, what are you looking for? I don't know what I'm looking for. I'm just going out. I got to go out. I just needed to be busy. I didn't want to think about it. I didn't want to think about, the pain that I was in. And I think a lot of people do that. I think a lot of women do that. And then one day I just remember driving home thinking, oh my God, what am I doing? This is crazy. I can't do this anymore. And I started to realize what I was doing. And thank God it only took me like 2 months, because God only knows what road I would have been on right now. But I think that a lot of people do that. I think even if I hadn't met someone else after my marriage, I think going through a divorce, you come out, and you're a woman, you don't know, you're so used to raising children and keeping a house and keeping a husband happy, and you get lost.
Your identity is in all that, right?
That's your identity. So, when you're, and you want to be divorced, that's what your goal is. But then you start going through it, and you're like, what the hell am I doing? Like, just just stayed there. It was comfortable. But you know what? I think the more you start to do all these things that I'm doing, the more you feel empowered, the more you know that you can choose your next next part of your life. It can be amazing. It can be. You just need to be strong. Like I always said, I can't do it because I'm not strong. And I never thought I would be. I never thought I ever could do this. And I feel so incredibly strong right now and so self-motivated. And I feel like everything I'm going to do is for me, finally, for me. Okay. I mean, obviously for my kids, but
yeah, of course.
mainly for me. So,
of course. Well, let's talk about mental toughness because, I want to kind of make this public announcement. It's not just about you, Lisa, at all, but it's just more like anyone watching this. I think, especially millennials that are even watching this can learn so much from people like Lisa. If I'm 25, about to get married, I want to hear from a 55-year-old. I want to hear from a 60-year-old. I want to hear from someone that's been married 30 years. I want to hear from people that have been divorced. Why did they get divorced? I want to learn. I want to grow. I think millennials nowadays are very weak. I think they're like a snowflake. They're very, very weak. They just haven't been through anything. And now we have COVID, and this is the first time that millennials are going through some things, and now they're kind of freaking out. But here's the good news for millennials. You have this. You literally, I want to talk about being an entrepreneur right now, Lisa. You can be an entrepreneur. You're either an entrepreneur or not. I think you can develop in one, but you have to decide you're one. We can make more money on this thing than anything out there. And then now, okay, so millennials have that opportunity. They need to get stronger. Okay, but here's you, New Jersey girl, you're already strong. But what are you learning about this? How to go from mental toughness to entrepreneurship and really seeing the greatness that you can really become yourself, to package that to package your message and to be able to now share your message to the world and even make a business out of it. What can you say about that? Your excitement about that, being an entrepreneur-minded person and being more mentally strong and learning things that you need to know.
Well, I mean, being 55, I mean, I have a lot of friends that, a lot of people are not at my age or even older are technically challenged. But like you said, you can do anything. Your phone literally can reach around the world. I've had chats with people in not Saudi Arabia. Where does he live? I don't even know. It's somewhere. But it's crazy. You can talk to people all over the world and it's like they're next door. So there is no reason why you can't, millennials, and my son is one. And, I mean, God, I don't know if he's watching this, but they whine. They're whine. Pick up the damn phone.
I'm telling you, they're weak, man. They got to get stronger. But they know the technology. They know the phone. They just got to get stronger. They're going to be multimillionaires.
Well, I think I have to say, one thing I think is that millennials lack confidence. You're not 55, so you don't have the life experience like you said, and you lack the confidence that you can do this business, or you can sell something, or you can, prospect people or make a phone call. I could pick the phone and talk to anybody or text anybody at this point. I don't care. I think the older you get, the more balls you have, maybe, or whatever. I don't know what it is. But yes, you have everything right at your fingertips. Like what we're doing right now. You're in Chicago. I'm here.
Right, exactly. But again, you're in your 50s, and it's usually around the 50 to 60-year-olds of people that are like, okay, I'm so afraid to do a Facebook Live. How do you do Instagram? And obviously, you had to figure it out. So what can you tell someone in their 50s, in their 60s? Maybe they are mentally strong. They can take it. They've been through, different things with our country in the 80s and the 70s, whatever. But at the same time, this thing scares them. Not the Vietnamese War, but this scares them. So how can you Vietnam? But they're fighters in Vietnam, but this scares them. So how can you talk to the 50s and 60-year-olds and be like, look, get off the job mentality. Let's learn this. Maybe they want to. Because you started doing lives recently. I mean, talk to me a little bit about your process of you putting yourself out there, you doing lives, you being bold. But is this really that hard? Because you just kind of post and start doing this, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I actually. Oh my God. So I'm sorry. I just got a phone call. Am I there?
Yes, you are.
Am I there?
Yep.
All right. You hear me?
Yes.
I can't hear you. Hold on a second.
We can hear you.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Okay.
Hold on a second. I don't know what happened.
I'll just go. I'll just keep talking. You just log out, log back in.
Hold on a sec.
Yeah, what happens is when you get a phone call when you're on your phone on this, yeah.
Can you hear me? Can you hear?
Yeah, we can. Okay. So what happens is when you get a phone call, she'll log back in. But if she doesn't get back on, we're almost done anyway. But Lisa Schuermann, definitely follow her on social media. There she is. Let's see if we can add her back. Can you hear me?
I'm back. I'm back.
You there?
Yes. Yes. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
There?
Cool.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Good.
Okay.
You did good. Okay.
I'm sorry.
So
okay.
Yeah, so tell me about that, because again, 56-year-olds have a little problem. They get intimidated by social media. They get intimidated, but this is a way that they forget about your pension, forget about a 401k. Okay, that's ridiculous. That's in 2 years. That's going to be all dried up when they're doing all this $1 billion and $1 trillion bailouts. I mean, people that are thinking their pension is going to be their retirement, even if it is, they're only get $1,000 to $2,000 a month. I mean, you can't really do much with that anyway. So how can a 50 to 6-year-old monetize and get themselves out there using social media like we're doing right now?
All right. Well, I mean, on the business side of it, I mean, I'm involved in network marketing. I love network marketing. To me, it's relationship building. I love that. And that's the way of the future. I mean, I think now, especially with COVID, I think everybody's doing everything online. So if you're not online, you're behind the 8 ball. And honestly, I've been doing live posts for like 4 years. I just love going on live. Not that I like to look at myself, but I love to put myself out there. I love to talk about things. Now I'm just so passionate because I'm so excited to be doing what I'm doing, and it's so awesome that I love to talk about it. I love to be able to empower people.
Right.
I think, and I did one today and I did one yesterday. I've been trying to go on a little bit more, but I said today, like, everybody has a story. If everybody got on, like, stories sell. People want to know, like, your adversities, like, you grow from your, the things that you go through. So why wouldn't you want to, I mean, I'm not saying everybody wants to be a coach or whatever, but to get on there and share it and know that even just one, you might just help one person be able to get out of bed that day, because I was there. I was in bed in a fetal position, crying, not that long ago. So if you could, I mean, that's what I think that is so powerful, to be able to get on social media and be vulnerable and to share your crap and to put it out there and to tell people how you got yourself out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
It is so powerful.
It's with a positive spin. I mean, don't just be vulnerable, but you're saying be vulnerable, but also tell people how you got out of it and what you did because of it, which is very relatable. So it's more relatable. It helps us all be connected, stay connected. That's powerful. And and again, if you're watching this, and I will talk to me about this, because you being a New Jersey girl, I'm a New Yorker. We both really hit it off because I think we're not easily offended.
Right.
I've never been on the phone with you where you're just like, Todd, that's a little offensive. You've kind of laughed sometimes when I'm strong, that in a good way. But what about these people that are so offended nowadays? I mean, you try to like work with them, you try to help them. They're so offended. They're like I said, snowflakes. It's just, they're so, what I was talking about is they're so fragile. Is life fragile? No, life is tough. The world is tough. And how does somebody be, and let me ask you this question, as a woman, how does someone be so empathetic, caring about someone else, but at the same time tough? How can that kind of be the yin and the yang? Because you need both in life. You can't just be empathetic all the time and not be tough, but you can't just be tough and then everyone thinks you're just an asshole. So how can you be a loving asshole? How can you be a loving asshole?
I can tell you how to be a loving asshole.
Okay.
I can.
Yeah.
So basically, like, I know, like you just said, like, you're loving. So like I'm an empath, like, beyond. I mean, for until now, I would suck everybody's energy in. It was like in me. It was like in me, and I could never block it. And I would walk around with it. I would have it in me. I was like a walking guilt trip. It was like, I had everybody's shit. Now I feel like I can hear it and I can let it go. Like, I could be empathetic with them, but I've been on the phone with friends. I mean, right now I'm not coaching, obviously, but I have a lot of friends going through a lot of shit. And I get off the phone with them and they are like, you just totally changed my whole attitude. And I'm not good, and I mean, it's a friend and I'm not, but I'm still like, strong.
There you go.
Can still be strong.
Yeah. And I think obviously you doing that, that's great. But how can somebody receive that without being so offended? Because right now, obviously, everyone's very sensitive. But here's the you versus you, right? So let's just get into like the last question, the you versus you battle. You versus your freedom. So one of the battles, you versus your freedom. So here's an opportunity that we can have freedom from all of this. COVID's happening. Some people are looking at like they're losing their freedom. I'm looking at it because I'm entrepreneur minded as, oh my God, I'm going to gain more freedom. We're going to create something more epic that I can't even sleep anymore because my mind won't shut off of ideas. So how does somebody kind of get off this, I'm offended, I'm watching the news all day, to actually being who they really are meant to be, like you, no matter what their age is, being creative, meditating, working out, finding a mate down the road, loving themselves? Like, how does someone stay motivated in the game like that? Like, what would you say to that person?
There's so many things. I mean, I think that we choose every day what to surround ourselves with. I mean, if you're going to choose to watch negativity all day, that's what's going to come out of your mouth. That's what's going to come from you. So, you can look at it, you can check in, see what's going on. But like, if you're, I was telling a friend this the other day, like his mom was watching something, and every time she calls, she's pissed, she's mad, she's angry at what's going on. But I said to him, if somebody's ingesting that all day long, what do you think is going to come out? You think sunshine and butterflies are going to come out of her mouth?
Right.
So you have a choice every single day. If a negative, I was just saying this today, if a negative feeling or emotion is in your head, you can choose to get rid of it. Yeah. I mean, yes, this is a terrible, terrible thing that's going on. People are dying, and I'm not downplaying that.
Right.
But like right now, like you say, and it's true, people need uplifting, motivational people around them. People need leaders. They want leaders. They want someone to help them. Everybody's going inward. Everybody's looking inside them. Yeah. Because you have so much time. You don't have to think about going to work. You don't even have to shower if you don't want.
Exactly.
So I think people are going to come out of this way more spiritual and more.
It's powerful.
Yeah, definitely.
That's great. And I 100% agree with you. I mean, Dennis Quaid, the actor, who's just teenagers, he looks great. He actually said exactly what you said the other day. And this is a spiritual awakening. I thought it was incredible. And I believe, but I also think spirituality, just like if you in the Marine Corps, any military out there, they're spiritual people. I mean, joining a mission like is a spiritual thing because you give up life. So I think we all got to get stronger as a nation. I really do. I think there's a lot of people that are just still, after 6 weeks, 7 weeks, they're not Lisa Schuermann right now. They're not just sitting around. You're not doing that. They need to be more like you. They need to be meditating. They need to grab their phone, meditate twice a day. Hey, you can't go to the gym? Everyone can go to YouTube and do Pilates and yoga or lifting weights or, just instruction. Your best teachers are on YouTube. So as long as you got this thing, you can not only become a millionaire, but you can get in shape. You can get your mind right. You can watch church service. You can get closer to God. I mean, this is it right here. So we've got to, but also sometimes you have to move away from it. You got to get away from it. Enjoy nature. Enjoy your family. So I love this interview, Lisa. I love how strong you're becoming. I love the second chapter of your life. Tell me a little bit where people can follow you. I know you post a lot. You give a lot of great content. Give me your Instagram. Obviously, they can follow you right here on Facebook. But go ahead and give any information out that you want anyone to follow you at.
So I have a YouTube. I'm not really sure exactly what that. I guess it's linked. I'm not really sure. I think it's at Lisa Schuermann. Okay. Same as my Facebook, and my Instagram is Lisa Schuermann 53.
So it's at Lisa Schuermann 53.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
So I'm gonna start posting a lot more on there, and I'm super excited. I'm so fired up. I don't know. Todd, you are the freaking bomb, dude. I am so happy I met you. I can't even tell you. And Emmanuel is like the cherry on the ice.
Yeah,
he is so cool.
How about our call last night? I wish there was 3,300 million people on that call last night. I mean, what he was talking about, how
That's
everyone needs
crazy.
to, how people can get rid of their inner baggage, their emotional baggage. They can talk to their inner child. He can tell, you know, for the body code, emotion code. I mean, how crazy was that call last night?
I was like, somebody, I think he posted like, what was your nugget? Like, what was the nugget? Like the whole thing was a nugget. Like I was like, holy, I was like, whoosh, like mind blown.
Yeah.
It was like,
Right.
oh my God. Yeah. Because I never knew all about that. I mean, you know, everybody I think knows that a little bit, like that you have stuff from your childhood in you, but like to be able to release that like that and to know that you can go in and talk and go
talk
to
your little girl, a 10-year-old or 10, you know, it's crazy. I mean, people have to really understand what the emotion code is in the book and everything, but talk about healing, you know, from the inside out. And that's what keeps people back. I mean, I can't tell you how many people I talk every day that talk a big game. They want to, a lot of people like, I want to do what you do. And okay, well, just like John Maxwell always says, well, you want to sit on a bench and drink Diet Coke and lead people on stage, but are you willing to do what I did to get that stage? And once they see, I don't know, I feel uncomfortable, I have to get out of my comfort zone. But we all know there's no money, there's no success, there's no growth within a comfort zone. I mean, if you want to be comfortable, just be comfortable an hour a day watching TV and then 8 hours at night. And then the rest of the day, be uncomfortable until you go to bed. Then you're comfortable. So then you'll really be comfortable for the rest of your life. So Lisa, thanks so much for being uncomfortable 5 months ago when you joined, and you're continuing that uncomfortability so that you could be as strong and really reach your full potential. So I really appreciate that.
Thank you so much. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for having me on.
All right, Lisa, you did great. I love it. Great interview.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Thanks so much. We'll see you tomorrow on the next show, You vs. You, with another epic guest like Lisa. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great rest of your evening.
Good night.